used to the computer screen.
How are you, man?
Great. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Great.
What went on there with talking and then having Joey come out and kick?
Well, because of the play before, he made the kick, but we have techniques that we want to execute on defense when the other team's going to snap the ball, and so Daquan Jones did it right, did it correctly, and the other D linemen, young guys, didn't. And so there's no young guys and old guys on the football field. There's Panthers. so let's brought up. So it doesn't matter if we work hard. If we do the wrong thing at the wrong time, we're going to lose the game. If we do the right things, we'll win the game. So we just executed it correctly, and then kicked it one more time, end on a high note.
Can we infer that you got what you wanted out of today since it ended early?
No, this was really the plan. I just had a certain amount of plays that I wanted to do. The coaches didn't know what the script was, so it was me and my, handwritten, like, hey, I want to get this. So the coaches had to react to it, the players had to react to it, and got done. So it's a lot of plays, just, not much other stuff other than just, warmed them up and then went through the situational stuff.
A lot of situational stuff. Were you pleased, unpleased, kind of in the middle?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell because you're counting on a pass rush in those situations. So obviously those guys really can't rush because of the rules, and we threw the Hail Mary up. And, we're not jumping up to get the ball. So, but I thought for a lot of things, recognizing the situations, understanding it's practice for the coaches as much as anything. We go back every morning at 7 a.m. and watch it as a staff. Did we make the right decision, wrong decision? So. I think it was good work. It's not where it needs to be to win games yet. That's why we have training camp.
How important to do that 2-minute end-of-game stuff, which you obviously didn't get a chance to last time at this time?
Yeah, I think I was walking with Ian Thomas yesterday, talking to him, and just how much more comfortable he was saying he is, just having a chance to go through all this stuff. So, I think last year we were spending a lot of time trying to figure out who we were in our base stuff, and who we were, in those other areas. So I think right now, the end of game, the red zone, we started in the red zone, but those were end of game red zone situations. So I think our guys are more comfortable. I think our coaches are more on the same page with the players, which I think is important as well. So process-wise, I think we're ahead of certainly we were this time last year, but ahead of even where I thought we would be. I think they've done a nice job of taking to it. And I know I'm giving you long-winded answers, I apologize, but I think we have some key veteran players that have come in here that are, you talk Daquan Jones, been to the playoffs the last 3 years in Tennessee. A.J. Boye's been to the playoffs, been to the championship game. So some of those veterans are coming in. Their understanding of situational football and explaining to the young guys how important it is has made us take a big step.
Matt, Mike Zimmer said in Minnesota today that it was going to be difficult for non-vaccinated players because of protocols, because of all the various different things that they will go through this year, basically to kind of to function this season. So I wonder, are you actively encouraging your players to get vaccinated?
The way I would couch it is I don't ever tell anybody else what to do. I think I encourage our players. I encourage our team to get vaccinated. Like, I think the best thing for our team is that whatever threshold the NFL sets, and I heard that we got protocols while I was out here, so I haven't read them yet. That Scott just walked up to me and said, hey, we got protocols. So I don't know what training camp's going to look like yet. But there's clearly going to be a benefit to have vaccinated players and be at a point where you don't have to have the same regimen that we have otherwise, right? So it's clearly going to be a competitive advantage to have teams that are more vaccinated than less vaccinated. So I don't tell anybody, hey, do it. I've told our team, this is better for our team if we're vaccinated. Seeing the news about Chris Paul today, watching John Rahm walk off the golf course 2 weeks ago. We've certainly given our players a lot of information. We certainly presented it like, hey, this is what we would like the team to do. But at the same time, it's a personal decision for each guy, So guys have different medical histories. Some guys on our team can't, they're still in the window from having COVID. So I think every case is individual. But globally, I would like us to be vaccinated and not have the protocols. I think it'll be an advantage and it'd be great for us.
Did you bring somebody in from the outside like some other teams have done, or is it just your own team doctors?
No, it's been involved in the Carolina Panthers. So, a lot of our guys, they've talked to outside people. I've encouraged them to go talk to outside people, and so far we've kept it just us.
A number of more mundane, a number of drops today, a couple by Ian. Any concern there?
No, Ian's had such a good camp. I hate for him that he, because he caught one earlier down there for a touchdown, so he's having another good day and then dropped this one to win it and then dropped another one. So, the drops are unacceptable. And really the biggest ones are, we 2 days in a row now, some tip balls leading to things. So tips and overthrows are where most interceptions come from. And so I think we're still a work in progress in a lot of different areas.
Matt, you referred to this as an evaluation period a couple times through the spring. As you look back over the last 3 or 4 weeks, are there groups of this team that are further ahead or in a better spot than you thought they were going to be coming into this time?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think, you sign guys in free agency, you draft guys, but you don't know what they are till they get. You still don't know completely who they are until you get to the training camp. Then you don't know who they are until they get to preseason games and the games, right? Like who shows up in the games. But I think we certainly had a chance to see guys who's serious about the details, who's serious about practicing hard, who's bad days, who's elite still on their bad days. I mean, to me, that's what defines a great football player, right? Like, it's not their high moments, it's how many low moments they have. So guys that are consistent, you can win a lot of games with. So I think we're evaluating that. Positionally, I would probably say corner is a place that stands out to me because we brought so many guys in. I think Rashawn Melvin's had a really good camp. I think A.J. Boye's had a really good camp. So then, we have the young guys, who are learning as they go, and Dante is growing as a player, which I've really liked a lot of things that Dante's done. So I'd say corner's a person maybe that stands out to me in terms of, just making some steps.
On that note, is there a position that you feel like, now there's some time in between now and camp that, like, maybe you're going to look to see if you can address or add to?
I think we're always going to try to, get better. You guys probably hear that from me, but we're always going to watch the wire, see who gets released. So I think there's positions that have a lot of competition. We need to figure out who the 3, 4, and 5 receivers are on the offensive line. We talked about that yesterday. I think those are positions we have to continue to evaluate. In terms of, hey, who should be where, and what's our best mix of guys. So.
What's the biggest growth area you want to see from Sam between now and when you guys reconvene in Spartanburg?
That's another really good question. We have purposely taken the approach of developing Sam and all our quarterbacks this spring as a drop-back passer and put a lot on them. I mean, more than most teams would probably do with a quarterback, more than probably the coaches are comfortable with. But for me, it's about just putting so much on those guys, not giving them a bunch of easy plays so they can go out and they can feel confident and look good. But we're trying to develop them as drop-back passers and handling the protections. And our defense has given us a lot of different looks. And so I want to stretch those guys and then be able to look and see what they do well, and then we can be more targeted in training camp into the season. So I think for Sam, it's just him really just going back over these plays and just where he doesn't have to get to the line and think, where he's, so I think it's just about him getting more comfortable within the system and all the things that we're asking him to do.
I know Robbie said yesterday there's like a different look about him. I know you don't have the same kind of experience Robbie does, but what are you noticing from just whether it's a confidence or I think Robbie used the word aura. What are you noticing about his demeanor?
I just think Sam's a hard worker and he holds himself accountable. He doesn't make excuses and he works hard. He's in here in the building all the time. He's working at his own craft. He's watching tape. He's preparing to a high level. And that's all I ask for players is, just put the time in, and what you put the time into, you're going to be good at. So he's a grinder, and I think that's the biggest thing that I care about the quarterback position.
Matt, there's a lot that has to happen in Spartanburg and here, but someone has to take the first reps. Who would you put out in left tackle in the first group? I
don't know that. That sounds like a bad answer, but Cam was doing really well when he was playing. He did some things to take care of himself, to get himself ready for training camp that we needed to do. So, we might do that. Dennis Daly has looked good. I'd probably talk to Pat, and it'd probably be a long conversation. I hate to say it like that, but that's really kind of where I'm at right now.
And it looks like Brady, or I should ask you, Brady taking most of his reps on the right side.
Yeah.
Is that the plan for him?
Yeah, I think we think he's a right tackle. It certainly doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to play left tackle. I think most of us just like length a little bit more on the left side, and so he's playing right tackle. I think he's a guy that can go inside and be an excellent guard, but I've been really pleased with him, his ability to play tackle. When we drafted him, we thought, hey, there's a guy he's going to find a place to play. And I feel good about him out there. So, I wouldn't say he would never go to left side, but I think we put him there and feel really good about his growth there.
Matt, Cam said yesterday that you guys told him he's going to play left tackle more. So I know he's played a lot of positions. Is that just where you guys think he's best, or is it more out of need or a combination?
No, I think we when we signed Cam, we thought we really liked his traits. It's he's been a couple years in the league, a couple different teams. He's got the traits to do it. We thought in our system he'd be a good player anyway. So I think he's a left tackle, it's his first position, and then certainly if If we go with someone else, we ask him to move around and play different places. But our guys, Taylor Moulton goes swings from side to side. If we ask Taylor to play guard, he'd say, yes, sir, I'll go right in there. So, he's awesome. So we have a lot of guys that just want to help the team win.
Matt, Jermaine Carter was able to step into the starter role late last year. How would you assess his camp, and how do you evaluate whether he's still that person you may want to start?
I think I think the linebacker position comes down to training camp, and you have to go make plays and get off blocks. Very happy with Jermaine. His from this time last year to here, I think he knows what to expect. He's an excellent communicator, gets the guys lined up. So we have 3 guys there in Denzel, Shaq, Jermaine. We look back at last year. Shaq played like 1,100 plays, played a lot of plays. Rarely came off the field. I'd like to get that number down so that he can play fast and play late in the year. And so I think we have those 3 guys, and then some other young guys that we feel good about. But those 3 guys give us a lot of versatility in different packages to get a guy off the field and give him a little bit of a break.
You mentioned corner as being kind of ahead. You have more numbers there now than you did last year. Is the plan to have JC progress into a point where you have him starting, or is it just kind of up to the competition at this point?
I think you draft a guy in the first round hoping that he's going to be, top 10 pick. You hope he's going to come in and start for you. That being said, I also hope that the guys we have don't just relinquish positions. And so, we played with a lot with 3 corners on the field today. I think they'll battle it all out. But I think JC is going to be a really good player, and he's going to be a valuable part of our team. And, but who's the nickel? Who's outside? I think that just. A lot of guys that are talented, they can do a lot of things. AJ's been to the Pro Bowl. Dante's an elite player, we think. We just got to keep him healthy and keep him moving in the direction he's going right now. So we're trying to develop all of them and, make that decision by the start of the season.
You mentioned Shaq and cutting down his reps. So it was 17 games. Is that important for a lot of guys, Christian, even trying to get those down a little so you can make it through the extra game and all? Or?
Yeah, I think the extra game next year obviously will have an effect on guys. I think just in general though we feel like, hey, if we can just cut the reps a little bit. And then for the rookies, we always talk about the proverbial rookie wall, where a lot of these guys played no games last year, 6 games last year. They didn't train for a whole college offseason. So what's a training camp in Spartanburg, and then throwing on top of 3 preseason games, thrown on top of a 17-game season. That's going to be a lot. So, you see us playing a lot with the 2s and 3s out here. We're trying to develop depth and have a team that has fresh guys down the stretch.
How does one less preseason game affect your evaluation process?
I don't think it's too big of a deal for us. I think I didn't have any last year, so I'm just excited to have 1 or 2. I want to see Will Greer go out there and play. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of confidence in him. I want to see him and PJ and Sam go out there and play against other teams. So, I think we'll be just fine with it.
Along those lines, are you in a position yet to confirm the Ravens practice?
I think Bruce is going to get with you guys on that. He's going to talk to you guys about those things. But,
Matt, if you don't mind, one more global vaccine question. I know some coaches have said their own teams are around 50-50. Do you know what your percentage is on how many guys have been vaccinated?
Yeah, and hopefully you understand. I'm not going to get into that, not say that, but I'll just tell you we're not at the level we want to be at right now. So, tomorrow's the last day of this, so I know some guys were waiting till they had gotten through this to do it. So, I've just kind of been focused on the goal of where we're going to get to, and hopefully we get there.
Matt, Hassan said yesterday, this is me being curious, that he thought you were calmer and not as hard on players than you were in college, and I was curious if that's something you were aware of, or is that him perceiving that, or is that something you're
Let me just say this. Every player that's played for me, when they see me later, they always say, like, oh, you're so much softer on these guys than you were on us, because they have these, stories that I did this and I did that. But certainly, when you have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys, I'm dealing with what they're doing in the dorm. I'm dealing with what they're doing academically. Here I'm dealing with football. And so everyone that's here wants to be a great player. They want to do the right things, right? So they don't need to be, beaten down, right? But, I think we have a good culture of accountability here. I take responsibility. The player, we put the tape on, and if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. There's no one's sacred. It can be anybody. So, I like that. You should ask Julie that, but just she considered me mellower than I was back then. So.